Okay, so a candy distributor needs to mix a 40% fat content chocolate with a 60% fat content chocolate to create 100 kilograms of a 58% fat content chocolate. How many kilograms of each kind of chocolate must they use? Okay, so how many kilograms of each kind of chocolate must they use? Well, this is a mixture problem, right? We're mixing some lower fat and higher fat stuff to get a mix that's between them. Whenever we do a mixture problem, we're going to use buckets. 3 buckets here. First bucket plus second bucket equals the final bucket. Okay, and so we put in the bottom is going to go the percentages. So I'll take the first one, the 40%, and I'll just go ahead and make it a decimal like we always do, 0.40, and 60%, 0.60, and 58%, which is 0.58, right? We always make percentages into decimals. Okay, so this is the first stuff, the second stuff, and then this is the mix, right? The first stuff plus the second stuff equals the mix, the final product mix.
Mr. Heron, I have a quick question about mine. If mine says 32.5, that's 0.325, right?
Yes, good question. Yeah, 32.5%, decimal back 2 places, would be 0.325. You got it. Exactly right. Good. Yeah, so whatever yours says, percentage-wise, you have to move the decimal 2 places back. Yeah, what if, by the way, what if it said like 6%? It would be 0.06. Because again, it's got to be 2 places back, the decimal does. From where it was. It moved back from where it was. You might say, well, where was it? It was here. 1, 2, like that. So it always moves 2 places to the left of where it was. It always moves 2 places to the left. Okay, and in the top goes the amounts. And so what are the amounts? Well, I know there's 100 kilograms of the mix. That's what it says here. We want to create 100 kilograms of the 58% stuff. So I'll just call this X and Y. Like that. All right. And so now we're ready to go. So there's our picture. So we have 2 letters that we don't know. X is how much of the 40%. And Y is how much of the 60%. So we'll remember that when we're all done with the problem, when we have an answer for X, X is going to represent how much of the 40% stuff, and Y is going to represent how much of the 60% stuff. Okay, so how do we get our equations? So the first equation comes from the tops. So we go right across the top there. It's going to be X plus Y equals 100. And the second one comes from the multiply. We multiply it, top and multiply, I mean top and bottom. Top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom. We'll multiply those. So here we go. So it's 0.40x plus 0.60y is 0.58 times 100. Does that make sense? I multiply top and bottom, multiply top and bottom, multiply top and bottom. And I hope this makes sense. I'm going to give you the reason why. This first equation is just total amount, right? We have a kind of a chocolate. It's a chocolate mix. We have a mix right here, and we're just saying the amount of this plus the amount of that is the total amount in the mix. That's the first equation. The second equation, when you multiply, you're getting the total amount of fat is what you're really getting, because the first beaker, the first bucket contains 40% fat. That means 40% times the amount, 40% times X is the amount of fat in the first bucket, fat in the second, fat in the third. That's why those two equations are right and true. Okay, so now how do we solve it? What are we going to do? Well, the first thing is I would come in here and get X alone. So here, I'll take this over here to the side. So we have X plus Y. Let's scribble that up. X plus Y is 100. And so I'm going to subtract Y from both sides there. And this cancels. And I get X is 100 minus Y. So I get X alone and then plug that in for X in the second equation. Is that good? So that's what we always do, right? We get X alone or Y alone, it doesn't matter which one, in the first equation, plug it into the second. Okay, so then what do we have? 0.40 times X, and what's X? 100 minus Y, right there, plus 0.60 times Y equals, and then multiply these on your calculator, you'll just get a plain 58. Like that. And then we keep going. I'm going to distribute. Boom, boom. 0.40 times 100, it'll come out 40 minus, and then 0.40 times Y, 0.40Y plus 0.60Y is 58. Like so. So now, we're trying to finish solving here. So this is 40, and then 0.60Y minus 0.40Y. That's 0.20Y. We good there? You want to finish solving for Y? Subtract 40 from both sides. And I get 0.20Y is 18. Last step to get Y alone, divide by the 0.20. And boom, Y equals 90. Like that. So I got Y. Y is 90. Now, once you've got one letter, how do you get the other? You know, you plug it in, right? Plug it in pretty much anywhere you want. Let's bring it over here. I'm going to go plug in. Y is 90. So where's the original equation? I'm going to grab the first. You can grab either equation. It doesn't matter. I'm going to grab the first one here. Bring it down. So it'll be X plus Y is 100. Plug in the 90. So it's X plus 90 equals 100. Subtract 90 from both. And X equals, what was that, 10? So we got X, we got Y. Now, how do you know which one's which? Well, remember up here, X is the 40%, Y is the 60% when we set up the original buckets. So the X is 10. That's here. The 10 is the 40%. 10, and Y is the 90 right here. And so there we go. Okay, so let's recap. What just happened on this problem? Well, it's a mixture problem. We're mixing together two kinds of chocolate. And so we do buckets. Whenever we Do a mixture problem, we do the 3 buckets. The first 2 buckets add together to equal the final mix, the final product, the mixed bucket. And so, and you put the percentages on the bottom and the amounts in the top. And you don't know the amounts of the first and second bucket. That's what you're trying to figure out. You just know the amount of the final product you want, the mix. You want 100 kilograms of that. And so now when you have 2 letters, you need 2 equations. So how do we write our 2 equations? Well, the first equation comes right across the top, x plus y is 100. Second equation comes from multiply, which I did. And then you take the top equation, solve for x, plug into the second equation, solve that. Going on down here, solve that, plug into the other equation, get the other letter. So there we go.